Okay, so we've added the add source type functionality. We can add new source types, so that's all working well. As we've been going through this, though, we've noticed that we seem to constantly be calling this create test account email functionality whenever the server read starts with Nodemon. So it's a bit annoying. I'm not exactly sure why it creates an. It's only used in the. Probably a good question. What's the purpose of creating a test account? I think from memory, AI may have added this. Okay, yeah, so. It needs, yeah, okay, got it. So. Let me just bring this up. Email. Test account. No. User test account. See, it uses it in our tests. The only problem. So I don't think that no, I don't think that does. It's still restarting because test account's only going to exist we only call test account. We do call test account here when we're setting up the transporter and initializing the email service. Okay. I don't think we can really get away around it for the time being, so we're going to leave that. Let's go back to the functionality we've been working on. Let's go to applications in development and open up. Yes. So we've got an endpoint to get our source types. We've got our endpoint to create a source type. We now need one for deleting and editing. So we're going to come back to our project here. We will go probably create a new project, new chat, sorry. I'm going to add all of the add source functionality. And then we will come here. So we're going to duplicate this. Let's do update company source. call it edit. So we need to run our structure again. Where did we have that? Node cd scripts. What's it called? Generate structure. So delete that. All right. I think in this, I might also test out asking Claude to respond in a concise message. Just interested in seeing how it works. So what I might do is start this as a new video. So for people just joining this video, what we've been doing is adding some additional functionality to our Zettelkasten inspired note-taking / knowledge base application. Earlier in a previous video, we were looking at some additional functionality that we would need based off of this kind of UI that we've built out with bolt.new. Now that we've got the rough frameworks of the UI, it kind of prompted some thoughts about what else we need to do to take it to the next level, and this is kind of some of the things that I think of just to be able to have something that's a bit more fully functioning, and then also think about how it might look and feel. So we are using this prompt, which I've been developing for based on all of my experience working with AI to code, and yeah, we're going to keep building on this. So there's a few areas where we edit, and actually what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to highlight the areas where we need to edit in yellow. Makes it a little bit easier. Source types field. So this is stuff that we edit. This should stay the same. This all stays the same, and then all of this would get changed as well. I always forget. I'm gonna do a patch request, not put, so patch. That all stays the same. So this line does change. Edit, and then we're going to change this to edit, 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 edit. All right. Control which in turn causes edit. So I think a good route. So at the moment we get this array. So we're not talking about editing. We are talking about editing the array, but I'm talking about editing one of the items in the array. When I talk about editing in this context, I am talking about editing a string in the array. For example, if it needs to be renamed from tweet to X. Alright, that should be pretty good. So we are testing out this concise response. Let's see what it comes back with. One we already actually we could have just used the patch request to add to the array. Why didn't I think about that before? Anyway. Please now it's our last message, so we'll see if we can create it. If not, I have noticed a few things creeping in, like there's no errors that we're throwing in the validations, so we might have to come back to that, but let's try and do this. So we'll pull this over to this side, we'll go to index, we'll bring in this component, which we haven't created yet, obviously. Actually, I have noticed something as well. These don't have authenticate in front of them. Not sure why. So we're going to do that. I won't do it right now, but we'll see that. No. Okay, index.js is done, and then we come to our components. So we go edit, source type, new file. I know it's covered with the patch request as well, but I mean, it can't hurt having this additional endpoint, and also from a point of view with AI and testing things, it really helps. I've found being very specific with the code and kind of chunking it down. So anyway, let's just do that. Edit source controller. And I think the other thing, I know I was testing the concise responses, but we're really not going to be able to get a good read on that, so I have to do that a little bit later on as well. I named this file wrong. It's routes.js. Services. Edit source. I just want to check here. So we find user by ID. So we get user first, then we get the company ID off the user rather than the request, which we had the issue with previously. Edit SourceType.utils. Save that. And edit SourceType.validation chains. Right. So restart that. And then what we're going to do is, actually, we have a bit of an issue. Yeah, this isn't going to work. Because it's an array of strings. And if I just want to change YouTube video to something else, I need to pass the whole array in. So I'd need to know what item in the array you're editing. So controller, old type, new type. Edit source type. Yeah, this functionality is not going to work how I thought it would work. We're going to need to, I think we need to update. I think we're going to need to update source type to be an array of objects with an object ID. And then what we can do is get the object ID and update the individual object. But we're out of messages, so I'm just going to put a note here. I believe this would Alright, so I'm going to finish the video here because we need to fix that up, and obviously we're out of messages on Claude. Before I do that, just think about if there's anything we might be able to do. Could probably go back over to Bolt and start working on this. But I might do that in a separate video and just think about a few things before I do that. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Right. Hey YouTube, how you going? Welcome to another video. In previous videos, what we were doing is making the ability to define different source types so that when you're creating a new source or a new note, you can kind of have your own source types instead of the ones that I predefine. Just to give a little bit of context to what this might look like, if you come here, this is like the kind of bare bones of the front end. If we go new note and we put in some test data here, you've got this source type. Currently it's just inputting a string. I want to be able to input like from a drop down list and allow people to add their own to that source type as well. So what we need to do is look at our model. Previously it was an array of strings, and I think it would be better to do it as an array of objects. So if we look at extended company, yeah, we can see that it's an array of strings. So what I'm going to do, because we then also need to be able to edit this source type. What's this? Okay. I'm not sure why that's happening. Anyway, we'll cover that in a second. So we're going to go over to Claude. Going to go back to our knowledge bank project. I don't know why I'm still seeing that message. Okay, cool. So if extended, we have extended company, get source type, add new source. It should be add source type. So knowledge bank. Where is it? No, not front end. Components, add source type. Okay, cool. So we're going to have to go a little bit off script instead of using our kind of normal scripts because we're not creating new functionality. So I think what we are going to do is we're going to tell currently in our extended company.js model, we have a field called source type. Types, which is currently an array of strings. I believe we should update this to be an array of objects. If you then look at, do we have this file? So default, yep, source types, default source types. .js, it currently provides some default values, so this will also need to be updated. For the object, I believe we should have the following fields. So source type name, source type order, source type color. For example, this could be YouTube video order 2 and hex color. I don't know, that's white. I don't know what color that is, but we can use that color. This will allow us to order our source types in our preferred order. It will also allow us to have a color that we can use as a background if we display these values on the front end. After we update the model and default source types to accommodate this, I need you to update the add source type dot routes add source type dot controller add source type dot service. Actually, it's not going to be the route. We won't need to change anything there. And in the controller, yeah, we just need to update the controller. Add source type controller, add source type services, add source type utils, and add source type dot validation chains to accept object rather than a string. Before questions, we'll just say here when creating the default source type, please feel free to let's see how this goes. Right. Okay, so we'll pull this over here, bring this back over here. So extended company models. So what we have is this separate schema for source type. Could be in a separate file, but I think it makes sense to keep it here. So source types, we just need to update this to be this. Extended company, that all remains the same. Default source types. Where are you? We're going to update this to be this. Source type validation. we're going to update to be this. I'm not sure what's going on there. SourceType utils. Hang on. That was the wrong folder. File, sorry. Add SourceType validation chains. SourceType utils. So normalize, source name type, hex color, check duplicate source type, validate company access. That all remains the same. Save that, and then in our services, we update this. And then in our controller, we also just change this, and then cool. So that all should still work. Now, when we go to test this though, the trouble is this is auto-generated when a new user is registered. I'm not going to write a migration script for the purpose of test users. So what we're going to do is we're going to register a new user, then we'll log in as that user. Actually, we need to do it from this. So we'll be up to test 216. Still waiting for it to connect. What's this? I need to whitelist my IP address again. Add current IP. Okay. Should connect in a second. I really don't know why this keeps taking so long. Come on. Right. So, send. We need to verify our email. Copy. Verify. Send. Awesome. Log in. 216. Correct. Right, now if we go get all source types, I'm not sure if we might need to update this code too. Oh no, that still works. So there's our array of objects. And then if we want to add a new source type, what we need to pass in is source type name, source type color. So let's update our bearer token. Do we do that? So source type name, and then source type color. I need a hex code. Hex code for bright yellow. That'll do. Send. There we go. There's news article, bright yellow. Let's just hit get all source types. You'll see it there, obviously. News article, bright yellow color, and we've now got an ID. So now we can get back to what we were doing beforehand, which is editing this controller. Because we previously were a little bit more limited when we were editing because it was an array of strings. It's a little bit more messy. So what we are going to do now is upload, edit. Okay. We now have these edit source type files. I need to update these to allow a user to update the to update these to leverage the fact we have changed source type from an array of strings to an array of objects. Then when the user is editing a source type, we need to allow to change the This will just be for the name and the color. We'll handle the order separately. Source type name and source type color. We will not allow the user to edit the order with this endpoint. Please let me know if you have any questions. If not, please just proceed immediately with updating the code, with providing me code. Alright. Awesome, just going to do it, no questions. So we'll pull this over here. First file is our controller, copy. So yeah, you can see source type ID, source type name, source type color is what we get pushed in. We need to provide in the request. Then that was our own note. Save that. Utils. Save that. Validation chains. Routes remains the same. Alright, so now uses source type ID to identify which source type to edit. So if we go here, let's duplicate. You know what? Like, why is it not bringing across? Edit source type. It's weird. I duplicate it and there it is. So it's going to be a patch request. Headers didn't bring in, so we're going to do that. What we're going to do is we'll copy this, and we will call this. So actually, if we go, so source type ID, name and color. We don't need order. So it's the ID, name and color. Headers. Auth. We need to copy. Bearer token. Paste that in here, and then what we will do is we'll change this to just blog. Let's change this to blog article. Let's change this from X color for bright blue. That'll do. Then the endpoint is SourceTypes. Patch request. Send. Source type ID is required. Okay. That's just a mistake there. Send. Updated successfully. Blog article instead of blog post. Colors updated. Happy days. Save this so that it saves there. And what we've now done is we've got the ability to add, edit, and get our source types. So come here. We now need an API endpoint to delete the source type. Let's do that in a separate request. Yeah. Just couldn't remember if we'd started writing that out last night. So what we will do is cd back into the root, git add, git commit -m, updated source type from array of strings to array of objects, added ability to edit source type name and color. Awesome. Alright, now let's go here. Blah blah blah. I want to be able to delete a source type from our array of objects. Type objects we received. Company model. field. Let's see what I do with default functions. These objects. There is a delete request. Sources. Source ID. When creating this functionality, delete. Therefore, so edit, delete. I hate. Why is it doing this? It's like got a weird space there. Anyway, delete. Alright, accepts the request. The controller calls the service in delete. Okay, so then what we'll say here is we will delete the object in the array by the object ID. When we delete an object from the array, if it has the order of 3, for example, then source type order. For example, then we need to update the remaining objects source type order to accommodate for the removal this item, i.e. the object that was previously ordered 4 would now be ordered as 3, given the original object with order 3 has been removed. Trying to think what other questions. I think that should be everything. So what we might do is come back to our knowledge bank for a sec. Didn't mean to click that. We're going to delete this, delete this, delete this, delete. Add the edit ones. We need to delete extended company and default source types. So add source type. Then extended company, and then also default source types. And then what I was thinking actually in these project instructions, I think we're wonder if we copy this and then please then read the instructions message. That might just help us not have to cut and paste all of this in. So, as in the top part. So we can just paste this smaller bit. I mean, Claude's still going to have to read that, so I don't think it's actually going to reduce any tokens. But I'm not exactly sure if Claude can kind of hold that in memory slightly differently. I don't know, it might make a slight difference, so let's see. What we might also do, because this is quite a simplistic piece of functionality, obviously we're just deleting something by ID. I'm going to switch to concise just to see how this works and if it still provides everything that we need. One, no. Two. Ooh. It's a good question. Should we validate? All right. Awesome. So let's start creating this. So we'll pull this over here. Load some of these components. Delete. Type. All right, and we'll go delete source type. Again, while I'm doing this, if you're watching this for the first time and you're wondering why we have the code so compartmentalized, it's purely because of how we've learned to work with AI. The more functionality you have in a file, so we could have like a SourceTypes file and then have all of the different routes. AI just constantly gets confused, in my opinion, and how I've been using it. So I really just am going down this route of continuing to compartmentalize all of the code as much as possible, even if it does lead to a small amount of duplication. This, in my opinion, makes it much easier to then write tests, which I know we haven't done for this functionality. We do need to go back and run some of our tests and update the test for now this extended company model, and then that's also going to impact some of the existing tests that we have for adding the tests that we're running for adding new notes and that kind of thing. So yeah, I know I need to go back and do that, but for now we are going to leave that because no one really likes watching videos of tests and I hate writing tests. So let's just keep going here. Delete source type dot validation. So it's not throwing. The other thing I've noticed is it's not throwing using our custom error types, but we can fix that up a little bit later on. Index. Right, so that functionality is now all in play. So if we come over here, duplicate this. Again, I don't know why it doesn't. It's weird how it doesn't populate the URL. Delete source type ID. And then this will be source ID / so we need a source ID there. In the body, we obviously don't need anything, which is fine. Headers, we need our bearer token. Alright, so source, so patch. What we can do is let's delete YouTube video. Save, just so we've got that with the string there. Send, route not found. What have I done? Source types. source types. It's weird. Hang on, let's just fix up this route. So I'm going to change this to sources. Then route, source types, NID, and then cannot read properties of null, source.js 15 to 21. Sorry. Still connecting. I'm a bit unsure why I'm getting this message. Because it's required. So okay, actually, change of plan. We shouldn't allow a user to delete a source type if it is used in a source. Instead, return actually see, source type here is a string. Let's just put this as undefined. Just need to think through that functionality a little bit more because, yeah, on the front end, we wanted to allow someone to input a... We wanted someone to... Let's get this working. Okay, it's deleted. And then... Yeah, so then if someone creates a new note, so they can still input their own string, but then if we go to get all source types, yeah, so we need to fix up this functionality. So let's add that to our to-do list. So we can do that. So what we need to do is when from a new note, okay, so we need to update that functionality. Okay, cool. So what we might do is, I wonder if we continue in this same chat. No, I think we come back here. And what I'm going to do is we've got our add note functionality. Yeah, so that's updated a week ago. So that's the same functionality there. What we'll do is we'll commit this code. So git add, git commit -m added ability to delete a source ID. Stop the video there. I think that's a good way to wrap up the kind of functionality for the source type stuff, and potentially I will start a new video and we need to go back and fix up our add new note functionality. Thanks for watching.